I want to have you think about change while I'm talking with you. I want you to keep that in mind. Change. How much change do you actually like? How much change do you actually instigate or innovate? How much change do you tolerate versus how much change do you lead? In your life, personal, in the business that you're in the enterprise that you're in the educational institution, or the governmental institution that you're in. Change is the operative word. Change. Now, I know President Obama made a whole campaign on the word change, but change is what we are fundamentally all about. I know this. I know this up close and personal because 50 years ago, that was me in the primordial ooze of technology. Being born out of the slide rule era. Now, I look around, there's got to be a few people here besides me who knows what a slide rule is and what a slide rule does. Thank you very much for being so honest. Well, oftentimes I give this presentation and the audience has no clue about what we're talking about. But that's the way it started. And 50 years ago, sadly, they were all men in the engineering and science field. Now, when I came to IBM, believe it or not, actually 45 years ago now, this was pretty much the state of the art from a technology perspective. And if you came with these skills, chances are you were going to do very well in IBM. Now, you probably don't recognize some of these things. I have to point them out to you. That's not a pencil. These are Ferrite Cores. That's kind of how we made memory at that time. That's what went into most of these systems, non-volatile, little buggers that they were. This system was built out of vacuum tubes. That's one of the first hard disk drives. When that thing stored information, the room shook. And then quickly things moved away from the 80-column punch card. I mean, you had to be facile with that when you started to work because that's how you got your input into the system. God forbid you dropped that deck of 400 cards and forgot to print the order in which they were to be inserted. I did that a few times. And then we moved on to semiconductor technology. Actually, a better way to look at this is this curve. This is the famous Kurtzweil curve. I like this curve for lots of reasons. I mean, first, my life is on this curve. Not over here, by the way. From here up that way, it's hard to find a curve where you can actually say that's my life. I like this curve because it actually plots very meaningful things. I mean, on this vertical axis, it plots for a fixed amount of money. How many calculations can you get in a fixed amount of time? So for a fixed amount of money, in this case $1,000, how many computations are you going to get in a second? Now, this is a logarithmic scale. This is a linear scale, so it's a semi-logarithmic plot. After all, we're in Marist, so we should be able to do exponential equations, and we should be able to do scientific notation. And you could look at this curve, and since it's actually bending upward, it's actually a super exponential curve. So in case you hadn't figured it out, from 1900 to 2000, 16 orders of magnitude. 16 orders of magnitude improvement. You won't find another industry anywhere in the world that can actually say in 100 years they made everybody 16 orders of magnitude more productive. And of course, what that did was drive down the cost of a calculation. I mean, at the inverse of this curve is this curve. This is what gets everyone excited. This is why everyone likes information technology. This is why everyone tries to put more of it in. Whether they need it or not, or whether they do it correctly or not is another story, or how they go about doing it. That's your work to figure out, what the right approach from an enterprise is. That's the value proposition, if you will, that drives our industry. Always has, and my prediction, if you read out here, says it likely will. It likely will continue. I have no idea. what it is after vacuum tubes, discrete transistors. I don't know what that is. It's something, and eventually it won't be silicon because, that wasn't silicon going from here to there. So, things do change, don't they? This industry changes. It drives profound change. And technology has been the steady driver of that. But, one of the things I want to leave with you today is technology, while it is fundamentally critical and important, and it always will be, it is not where the value is in the 21st century. It is no longer the necessary and sufficient condition for success. So you can't just be comfortable being driven by technology. You can't. If that's what drives you, if you just move from one thing to the next, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble sooner than later. Maybe right now, given the difficulties and challenges that the world faces. These three phenomena are really driving change. Now, technology drives them. There's no doubt about that. Technology is embedded in all of them, and it's critical to all of them. But they are probably the more worthwhile changes for you to think about as you think about computing in your enterprise, as you think about what skills do you need to actually not just survive, but to thrive in the 21st century. And just how innovative are you? Do you really, really understand what innovation means in the 21st century? So I'm going to take you through these very briefly. I'm going to put you way down in some parts of this presentation, and I guarantee you before I'm done with you, I'll bring you back up again. So don't despair, don't do anything stupid, as we're moving through this presentation. The network ubiquity, you know all about this, right? Sure you do. You're all experts, absolutely. You Twitter, you tweet, you Facebook, you MySpace, you LinkedIn, you do everything. You blog, you flog, whatever else people got out there. You do all that stuff, right? All this since 1995. Not so long ago. Not so long ago, my friends. Very few of us understood, honestly, what the internet was all about. Rising tide of globalization. I don't know how you feel about that. Are you on the winning side or the losing side? It's always an issue of, is it a push, is it a pull? Am I being pushed or am I being pulled? Did I gain or did I lose? I have news for you. You have no control over the rising tide of globalization. None whatsoever. You know what drives it? The economy. The globally integrated economy. That's the thing you should be looking at. The economy of the globe is what's bringing all this to bear. Isolation, nationalism, buy America, buy Canada, I heard this today on Squawk Box before I came here, this whole backlash now of embedded pieces of legislation that people are putting in place. It won't last. Just won't last. The world, it's driven by technology. This didn't get to happen by accident. I didn't get here by accident. I'm a second-generation American. If it weren't for the rising tide of globalization, pre-World War II, I'd still be in Italy or wherever. And then this whole issue around innovation itself. Innovation, is it different in enterprises versus small businesses? Is there any entrepreneurship left in this country? Is that not what's going to drive the growth in the United States of America? Innovation? Isn't that what's going to drive it? Do you worry about what drives the GDP of our country? Where does it come from? It's not coming from GM, is it? It's not coming from Chrysler, and I'm not slamming them. In some years it doesn't come from IBM either, to be honest with you. What the heck? It's almost a 400,000 person organization already. How much bigger can it get? How much growth can actually drive trillions and trillions of dollars worth of economy? Innovation. It's always been innovation. So don't we need to think a little differently about this in the 21st century? Don't we need to kind of push ourselves for change? Quickly, the ubiquity of the net. Why did I put this up here? put this up here because I dared to say in 1998 on a stage down in New York City to a bunch of Wall Street analysts that in 10 years, the internet would drive a world that's connected with 1 million businesses, 1 billion people, and 1 trillion devices. I said that. And of course, there's lots of people who keep reminding me I said that. I didn't know anything when I said that. I mean, I'm only like 3 years into the internet, in 1998. But, they're expecting us, IBM, me, in the role that Roger described, to say something about this. I know I needed a soundbite, so I just came up with 1 million, 1 billion, 1 trillion. It sounded logical to me. How right was I? How right was I looking back? 1 million businesses? It's several million businesses. 1 billion people? It's almost 2 billion people. Now, here's where I got in trouble. 1 trillion. A very big number. Very big number. But we're going to make 1 trillion happen. It's going to happen. Maybe it won't happen next year, but within the next 2 to 3 years, there'll be over 1 trillion devices. Especially when you think about enterprises and how you're automating so many of your processes. And we'll talk a little bit about some of those industries and how they're doing that and why they're doing it. So I'm not worried about that prediction. I really am not worried about that prediction. It'll all come to pass, maybe a little later. IBM understands this very well. So do a lot of other, IBM will be 100 years old in 2 years. It'll be 100 years old. It started out as International Business Machines. It was right-minded. Right from the beginning, Mr. Watson Sr., whatever made him do that, he had it figured out. It's all about world peace through world trade. All those things are true statements. But international is so 19th century as a model. Multinational is so 20th century as a model. Global is the 21st century thought for a model. International, everything gets done here, we just ship it everywhere. Multinational, we'll do all of the same thing in every place all around the world. We'll have redundancies everywhere. And then the globalized model that says, hey, there's smart people everywhere. And we're going to take advantage of them everywhere in the world. And we're going to do things once and for all. And we're going to make our business line up to the globally integrated economy. Now, innovation. I could do hours, if not days, on this topic. We helped write this report. Innovate America, the NII, the National Innovation Initiative. We helped write that report. Physically, me, was embedded for a year, 2003 to 2004, studying innovation in this country, trying to figure out what is it. If I'm right, if there's an itch, if there's something wrong, if things are not quite what they used to be in the 20th century, or the 21st century, what are they? What are they? What are the differences? And if it's not just technology, what's driving it? And why is it driving it? And what about all the other industries, not just the information technology industry? We concluded so many wonderful things. I tried to summarize them here. You want to be innovative? Build an environment that's open, collaborative, global, and multidisciplined. Multidisciplined, global, collaborative, open. If you don't have an environment that you're nurturing in your enterprise, in your organization, your academic institution, your governmental institution, your NGO, you're in trouble. You're not going to be innovative. You are simply blocking out the next best thought or the next piece of the puzzle. Collaborative, open, multidisciplined, global, that's what you want to stand for if you want to build an innovative economy. You have to be smart enough to realize that value is migrating on a regular basis. And while everybody wants to run to products or services, there could be as much innovation in process, business models, management systems, or society that could derive and extract value. And after all, what are you looking for in terms of innovation? You are looking for the opportunity to unlock hidden value. Value that exists, that everybody sees, but people don't know how to get to. You're looking to take your knowledge of the problem, of the issue, of the difficulty, of the industry, of the government, of the educational facility. You're looking to take your knowledge of that and bring your technical knowledge to it in a unique and facile way to connect and to unlock those value points at those deep interstices. That's the value that you're looking for. That's real innovation in the final analysis. We're not doing things for the sake of doing things. I used to say this all the time back in the 20th century. It's all about, if it can be done, it should be done. Everybody was looking for the next big thing. I say now there are no next big things. There are thousands of next big things. None of them by themselves make a difference. Aggregated in some form, several of them will. That's where the innovation operates. The more you bring disparate things together, knowledge from one place to another place, knowledge from this place to that place, the more you let people bump into each other and the more you allow people to intersect, the more innovative you're going to be. The bigger the chances are that you are going to come out in this innovative economy, which everybody's already decided is the innovative economy, you're going to come out the winner.